This is a piece of crap. This is a real antenna. Stay tuned.
Nerdy dude stuff.
For those of you keeping track at home, today's beverage of the day, we finally found it, ladies and gentlemen, the Kona Spiked Island Seltzer. This is the passion fruit orange guava. They have a lot of fun flavors, and I'm super excited. Only 3 ingredients: carbonated water, alcohol, and natural flavors, which probably means more other ingredients. But I really enjoy this. It doesn't have that artificial sweetened flavoring like White Claw and Truly. So, sorry, beer lovers. I also drink hard seltzer.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, helium mining, troubleshooting, problem-solving skills, trial and error, and all that good stuff. If this is your first time on the channel, please take a moment to consider hitting that subscribe button and just pop on over and click the bell notification as we post videos weekly. Definitely like and leave a comment on this video. Now, guess what, everyone? After trying and failing and potentially being scammed, we did a thing.
So here we are. Sorry for the shaky, I'm up in my attic. We are replacing this quote-unquote 10 dBi antenna with the rack 5.8 dBi antenna. So let's see how it goes.
All right, as you can see, we are installed. Let's get some helium.
Yes, that is correct. You did see that rack antenna being held up to the attic support with zip ties. Reason being is that I inevitably feel that we are going to be posting that up on our roof outside probably within 30 days. Hopefully not. I'd really like the fact that it's up in the attic. It's easy to access, but everyone's saying post it outside, post it outside, post it outside. And I've seen YouTube videos that had successful results in the attic versus on top of the roof. Hopefully we're one of those guys. If not, I'm actually a little bit more inclined to be okay with posting everything out on the roof and putting the miner out in the attic because Bobcat will be releasing a new dashboard that's currently in beta, and we can actually access our miners without needing to go to the physical unit. So I'm more comfortable doing that because one thing I was always worried about was putting the Bobcat antenna in the Bobcat miner in the attic with the antenna outside so it can run out and run up on my roof and everything nice and high. And then if anything ever happened or I couldn't monitor, I had to double check what some of the errors were, the troubleshooting was in the miner, I'd have to climb into the attic and go and do that. So with that new dashboard, and we'll do a video on that here soon, I am a lot more comfortable doing that, especially having 2 miners. So with all that said, absolutely, guys, shame on me, and we're going to look at these numbers here on screen in just a moment, but I did, getting into helium mining, there's a lot of trial and error. I do watch other YouTubers and stuff, but I want to be able to bring original content to you guys of my experience and my step-by-step, because not everyone necessarily watches YouTube or, watches all the people that I do, and maybe you can emulate my successes with skipping all my errors. So the very first thing that we did when we bought our helium miners was we bought a crappy cord, and so we bought, I should have had these ready. We bought this crappy tiny little cord, and we bought what we thought was the 10 dBi omnidirectional fiberglass antenna. Really, this is only a 3 dBi antenna. One of my commenters said that a 10 dBi needs to be at least 3 feet long, and like I said, this is very clearly not 3 feet long. This is in fact a 3 dBi antenna. We did luckily manage to get, I think, a couple of 2 or 3 witnesses, and we witnessed our own hotspot with this. I think we got 3 or 4. So not worth, it's just not supposed to be set up in an attic or anything, but really not worth the $45 we spent. What I am hoping is worth, and then of course there's that crappy little cable, and everyone says cables are very important, and so we just throw this setup right out the window now. What we are hoping for is, you saw it already on the intro, and you saw the other one installed, but this is the rack 5.8 dBi antenna. This is my second one. I've already installed my first one, and I'm trying to get it on camera here. I've already installed my first one in my attic, and this is the one that's going to be installed at my in-laws' house. Just look. Where'd it go? Just look at the difference between the quote-unquote 10 dBi. Let me get it on camera here. The quote-unquote, oh my God. The quote-unquote 10 dBi and then the rack 5.8. This was $40. Yes, it's $40 for shipping, but this was $40. This was $45. So of course we bought two. So you can see the difference there. And then again, this is the setting that's going on my the antenna that's going on my in-laws house. And of course, we also have that extra LMR-400 cable ready to go. Everything's all set since we were able to custom build this cable. We don't need any adapters or anything. This will be able to plug right in and screw in, which I almost did there, and then that will go right into the back of my other Bobcat. So very excited to get these all set up. This one will be outside. Here is the lightning arrestor that we have ready to go. So we have everything ready to put this bad boy outside. Really nice when you get it shipped in the mail. Comes in a sturdy box, and then inside the box it's got it's going to be in this tube. So we're going to be keeping ours in this tube, and then it's got all the connections you need, the screws. And it's got the little plates so you can mount it to an antenna adapter outside, and then wires if you need. But of course we don't need those wires. But let's take a look at a couple things online, shall we? As you could see here, this is our miner brief taupe Fox, and we have already updated it to reflect that we now have a 5.8 dBi antenna. And we did actually measure this time around. We measured up to the peak of our ceiling on the inside of our house, and then from that peak inside the attic to where this is actually placed. And this is roughly 8 meters. It was probably about like 25.9 feet. So we're just going to be generous and say it's 8 meters up in the air, and only having the shingles and plywood ceiling covering it, being inside the attic. You can see here the last activity that we had. So any of the activity that we see right here on screen in the last 24 hours is everything from our 10 dBi bullshit. Really, it's a 3 dBi antenna. And you can see that we did actually have a little bit of decent activity overnight. Where did we get? Right here. So we were able to witness a beacon, and we were paid out for that. This was within the last 24 hours. And this beacon was sent all the way out from the middle of freaking Orlando. Actually, that looks like Kissimmee. Yeah, and that guy was reaching out to everybody. Let's see what that beaconer is running. No, I don't even care that much. So as we go back in, you see now we are up at 5.8. Last 24 hours, we've earned ourselves about $1.41 in helium. And we did a 30-day video yesterday, so we're not going to go over those numbers. You can just see them there on screen. So I'm very, very happy. And then, of course, we will be working on this antenna over the weekend. Probably Saturday, we'll take a trip over there, and we'll crawl under my in-laws' house, because we can actually run the cable down and under the house and then straight up to the roof. And this Bobcat miner is hardwired, and they actually do have the cable ports, and I was able to access that and run underground or under the house and then up. So that'll be a very easy install, and I'm looking very much forward to that. And I'll do a video on that, probably not that, maybe even that day, but you'll see everything from my grounding with the lightning arrestor and the outdoor placement, based on how much my in-laws are comfortable with me filming around their house. So we did this on yesterday's video talking about this, but I really wanted to make sure I dedicated a full video to doing your research and finding out what antennas are good and bad. When I purchased this antenna, you see I purchased it on July 9th. This had 2 ratings and they were 5 stars each, so this must have been a new antenna that came out. And I, as someone that was new into helium mining, not knowing exactly what 10 dBi antennas should look like or shouldn't look like or anything like that, and just kind of saying, oh man, that's a really good price, because I was looking at the ProxyCast 10 dBi antenna for $140, and that's actually a 3-foot mofo. Then I found this one for $44, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll try that. And then getting the results that I wasn't getting versus watching other YouTubers that have like the rack 5.8, and then all the comments you guys left me to get the rack 5.8, and seeing all the results from people that have the rack 5.8, even in like more urban or more like rural environments than me, where I keep saying I'm a lone wolf. One of my commenters was like, how are you a lone wolf exactly? A lot of comments were saying if you don't have stuff touching your hexagon, you're not going to make a lot of money. So I kind of assumed that would be like a lone wolf territory, and this would be lone wolf territory, unlike this where they have 2 back and forth. So that's why I was thinking it was lone wolf. But now as we learn, we look at this antenna, it says right here, it's 15.75 inches. That's another red flag too. Yesterday in the video when I was scrolling down to the specs, because I do these videos pretty much live in like one take, I noticed that the specs were stating that this antenna is 19.69 inches long. And so then you go up here to the photo showing its specs, and it very clearly states it's 15.75 inches long, and the antenna itself, the fiberglass body itself, is only like roughly a foot long. So I wasn't exaggerating when I said it's like yay big, versus that nice long ass rack 5.8 dBi. So that should have been another red flag that we saw. And then when we were going over, they did change this page, but if you go down to the Q&A section of this page, also you'll see like reviews now are actually up. Where's the Q&A? Did I pass it? I probably passed it because that's just what I do. Did they remove the questions? Did they remove the questions? Because it says right here, have a question type. Let's see if we can find the questions. There's another scam. There's the proxy cast I was talking about. That makes more sense. 4 dBi, that probably makes more sense for it to be $38.99. And there's a big 10 dBi, $100. Where's the Q&A? Q&A. They did. They removed the questions from it. Oh, so there was a question on here that said, why is your title saying that the antenna is a 10 dBi when some of the information in this portion here says the 3 dBi, and they said, oops, that's a mistake. So that should have been the big red flag that we noticed as well. All these cables and stuff like that. I like I said, trial and error. I wouldn't recommend doing any of this. The proxy cast, probably something a little bit more reasonable. Like this is a 15 dBi antenna. It's 86 inches. A little more reasonable if you know your dBis and what exactly you need, but just be very, very careful. That's why we decided to end up purchasing the 5.8 dBi antenna bundle. So we've got the two there for $80, and this was the biggest success antenna that I've seen. This is the biggest, most popular in the comments that I've seen. So that's why we're taking the plunge with that. And then we went to USA Coax to custom build our, monster cable as well. So we're going to leave it going. We're just going to let it sit. We are starting a 24-hour clock right now at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and hopefully we are going to get some more activity because this is all updated now that we have this beast of an antenna up in our attic ready to go. And if you guys want to get your hands on this antenna, if you have two miners, it's definitely, I think, is something that's worth grabbing because it's $80 for the two. It's only $40 for one, but the shipping is $40. So if you have two or more, I believe that's a little more worth it. It comes really, really, really well shipped and really packaged, and you feel really confident that your product is not going to be banged up or broken. So for $40, money well spent. But maybe for one antenna, you can't justify buying one antenna for $80. But for two, absolutely. If you do, there's a link in the description of this video or as a number one pinned comment, and you could save yourself 5% on that antenna purchase, and I get a small teeny tiny little kickback as a thank you for sending it your way as well. So that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Any questions, comments, concerns, please leave a comment. Reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, Telegram, email, all that good stuff. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, turn on bell notification, like, comment, all that good stuff. I'm O'Price, and we'll see you guys next time.